Welcome to Mr. Woods' Wonderful World of Art, and I'm Mr. Woods. And this episode is going to deal with the element of design, value. So let's get right to the materials. You're going to need a sheet of drawing paper, pencil, eraser. I highly recommend getting a simple set of charcoal pencils. I have a 2B, 4B, and 6B. Some stumps, or you can use tissue paper or even your fingers. You'll need a light source, and you need to find a ball. It could be a dodgeball, a basketball, or even a football. A ball that is round is going to make this project a lot easier, but whatever you find works for me. So let's begin. I'm using a flashlight as my light source, and it's shining from the left side, causing a highlight up on the top left of the ball. Then down on the right side of the ball, that's where our shadow is. And remember, the middle part of the shadow is going to be the core, and that's going to be the darkest. And then because the light is hitting the ball, it's creating a cast shadow upon the table. And a rule of thumb is to make the cast shadow the darkest where the ball and the table connect or touch. So I've chosen the image of basketball, and like I said before, a round ball is going to be a little bit easier for this project, but you don't necessarily have to do a round one. And I just have a 9x12 sheet of white drawing paper. So I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm going to draw myself a large circle. And I'm going to give myself a guideline for the word. Spalding here. But you don't necessarily have to put the words in. You can just have the ball itself. And this is just a real light sketch. And most of these pencil lines are going to blend in with my charcoal once I start using it. Just make sure that goes straight across there. Bring that line up a little bit. So the light source is coming in from the left, hitting the ball here, causing the middle part of the ball to have a shadow, and a core of the shadow is going to be the darkest part right about there. And then you can see underneath on the ball it gets a little bit lighter because that's the reflected light. The light's hitting the table, bouncing back up and just causing a little bit of the shadow to be a little bit lighter at the edge of the ball where it's touching the table. Then we have a cast shadow. So the ball is casting a shadow onto the table. And I like to use right here, right where the ball touches the table is going to be the darkest part, or the core of the cast shadow. And then it's going to gradually get a little bit lighter at the edge, so the gradient goes from almost a pure black to a really, really dark gray. I'm going to pencil in the letters and then start with the shading. So when I'm drawing certain things, like right here, it's a little basketball player, but it's hard to tell what it is. I just draw the shape. I just fill in the shapes and do the best I can with trying to make it appear like I can tell what it is. And lettering, sometimes it's easier just to make some boxes, some guidelines. I do have some videos over creating block letter alphabets, so you could check that out. Do a little bit of erasing here. Then I'm going to get started with the charcoal pencils. So I kind of like the shape. Lettering looks okay. The ball's a little more curved right there. Have our shadow coming in on the right side. Now I'm going to start with a 2B. It's medium on the softness. It'll blend, but the 6B, which is a lot softer, will blend a lot easier. Okay. Now with the 2B, it's going to be a lot darker than a regular number 2 graphite pencil, and it'll blend. But the 6B is so soft, it blends really smooth and gives you an even darker shade. So start out with the 2B, and then we'll move up to a 4, then later a 6. All I'm doing now is getting the basic outline that I already had with the graphite pencil. Now when you're using the charcoal pencil, try to lean it on the side more than straight up and down, because sometimes the tip can be hard, especially on a 2B, that you might end up damaging the paper. And then sometimes when you have your charcoal pencil just creates lines, it's hard to blend that smooth. I'm going to move on to a 4B. I'm going to start work on that shadow back here. It's a little bit softer, and it'll get a little bit darker. And once you really start shading in, you might take a secondary paper and just use it as a cover sheet so you're not smearing everything around. And once you start the cast shadow, make your lines, again, at an angle, go in the direction of the ball. So the top ones are going to curve this way, the ones in the middle are going to go straight, the ones at the bottom are going to just curve around and help emphasize the curve of the ball. And I'm applying this charcoal in what we call the core, the darkest part. And I'll thicken in some of these lines a little bit here. And instead of going just with straight lines and just taking the pencil like left to right or up and down, I do a little circular motion. Now it's going to be a gradual build up and layer. Now I'm going a little darker for the cast shadow right where the ball meets the table. And the way I have my actual flashlight shining on the basketball, it makes my cast shadow a lot darker than the ball itself. And again, little circular strokes. You're building up and you're layering to produce a nice, smooth, soft transition. And I'm going to move on to 6B. Now my 6B is the softest, and it's going to be the darkest. I'm going to choose to use that right through here because I want to overemphasize the core of the shadow of the ball. Now I have just a regular stump, and this is a tortillon, and I want to use it, lay it flat on the paper, little circle strokes as well, and just softly blend that shadow in. Be careful when you go over any of the lettering that you don't blend it in such a way that you can no longer see it. And remember, don't overblend. Just don't get crazy and go overblend the whole thing. And we're going to touch some things up with an eraser. We're going to come back in, kind of fine tune it, erase a little bit. And we'll get that charcoal background in as well. Just kind of add a little bit of shade to the background. That's going to make our highlights really pop out. And once the stump becomes dirty itself, you can use the stump as a drawing tool, not just a blending tool, and you can get the soft grays. Here's the finished drawing. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hey my friends, thank you so much for joining me for another episode right here at Mr. Woods' Wonderful World of Art. And I hope you had a ball creating this hands-on project dealing with the element of design, value. After you finished your work, take a good picture, upload it back onto my Facebook page. And remember, if anyone can do it, it's you.